It was about a week before Christmas, and all through the restaurant not an employee was stirring, not even the usually hyperactive busboy Mahmoud, who sat bolt upright at the end of an empty banquette, staring into space. The decorations, $649 worth, Marvin recalled with dismay, had been hung in the foyer and front picture window with care, $500 to some overpaid drapery queen, in the hopes that if not Santa, then at least a few walk-in customers would materialize. A tree, another 300 smackers to the sorriest-ass, coverall-wearing, pine-barren-dwelling, inbred motherfucker Marvin had ever seen outside of Deliverance, had arrived yesterday by truck, and now twinkled and glittered with muted white and silver lights by the host stand, where Michelle, who was working tonight because she'd swapped shifts with Alexandra, the good hostess, slouched over the reservation book and covertly prodded a zit. Marvin had, at the last minute, decided against Christmas music. That would have been too much. Happy sleigh bells and songs about sugar plum fairies and reindeers and shit. A week ago, when business had been better, he'd briefly considered budgeting for music, then abandoned the idea, sensing the potential for truly painful irony. Things were bad enough, thought Marvin. He didn't need excruciating background music. Bing Crosby walks in the door right now, he mused. Started in with that I'm dreaming of a white Christmas shit, he'd never get to finish the line. The whole floor staff of the beleaguered Restaurant Saint Germain would race each other to beat him to death with the nearest bar stool. Good thing Bing's dead, he thought. Instead of carols, French lounge music oozed out of the bar's recessed speakers, as always. Innocuous enough, and what people like these days, according to Rob. Marvin sat by the service end of the bar, glumly observing, but not really, the 3 regular customers drinking Chimay at the other end, and the deuce on table 7 who were already looking furtively around Saint Germain's empty dining room and whispering to each other. They were going to lose the table. Marvin knew it without having to look over at them. They hadn't ordered food yet and were clearly reconsidering their options over drinks, planning an exit strategy. The body language, purse repositioned on lap, the male half of the equation looking around for a waiter while he balled up his napkin, said they were ready to bolt. Ready to blurt out some ridiculous lie like we weren't really as hungry as we thought, or my wife is having an allergy attack, or I left the gas on, before they were out the door and in the wind. Gone. Like Marvin's entire stake. 22 years of sweat and toil, warehouses full of mufflers and brake pads, trailer loads, container loads even, of radial tires and retreads, blown up and away, 2 turns around Madison Square Park, and into the void like a lonely, wind-buffeted snowflake. A thing of no consequence, never existed. Marvin drank his second scotch and water of the evening and tried to avoid thinking about numbers. He didn't want to think about the loan he'd personally guaranteed so that the busboy, the 3 waiters, and the 12, count 'em, 12 cooks Rob had insisted they absolutely had to have could all sit around the kitchen doing jack shit. The $500,000 kitchen with the brand spanking new jade ranges and all-clad pots and pans and induction burners and Paco jet machine and marble counter for the pâtissier and the custom-made rolling racks and reach-ins and the tandoori oven which Rob had used once and never again so far as Marvin knew, all of which Rob also had insisted they absolutely had to have. And where was Rob anyway? Where was America's sexiest chef? Why wasn't he here to share the pain, the humiliation, the death in increments of all their dreams? This is what he got for wanting to play the bogey part. This is what he got for all those gin-soaked evenings in the Hamptons, still flush with the accumulated liquid assets of years in the auto parts biz, those sweet, lazy afternoons by the pool, dreaming of a white dinner jacket, a smoldering cigarette, of signing checks for favored customers in his very own place. OK Rick, or OK Marvin in this case, swanning around the dining room of his very own place, the hottest place in town, his favorite songs playing in the background. Ingrid Bergman, or someone very much like her, would be waiting for him in an upstairs apartment. It had seemed so serendipitous at the time, meeting the young Rob Holland just down from Boston, weekending with the Havermeyers, who'd taken a place at the beach. The hottest chef in the Northeast, Ellie Havermeyer had confided in whispered tones, beaming like she was showing off a prize Pekingese. And the sexiest fucking thing in checked pants, added her sister Sissy in a slightly more strident aside, coloring as she said it. This had impressed Marvin, as Sissy liked to use the word fuck a lot, and never blushed for anything. Chet, the bartender, a long-in-the-tooth ex-model who'd long ago resigned himself to slinging drinks for the rest of his life, wiped the bar and from the corners of his eyes glanced pityingly at Marvin, as much as bartenders can feel pity. Chet looked worried, thought Marvin with some satisfaction. Probably because the place was so damn slow